prepared to speak up. All these statisticians threw all those numbers at you. So I'm going to spare your numbers, and I'm going to talk with you about concepts, focus, a little bit about philosophy. And we all understand that the resources that we use to produce energy that keeps us warm and that cools us and that propels our vehicles, that they are all finite resources. However, they are extremely important components of the economy of our country, provide thousands of jobs, pay millions of dollars in taxes. So we need to make sure that we handle them gently as we make the transition to what my boss, the governor, refers to as a new energy economy. And we need to look seriously at the kind of public policy supporting people who understand that there are changes that need to be made in the way we live, in the way that we consume energy. And within those changes, there's a myriad of opportunities for new skills. There's a myriad of opportunities for new kinds of work. You've heard some of the folks talking about the energy efficiency and the energy audits where you go around and measure all of the leaks and all of the faulty ways that our previous methods of construction built into the homes, the buildings, and the other facilities that we operate in. The energy that is lost in the transmission of electricity from where it is generated to the point where we use it is another area that requires innovation, that requires investigation, and requires I'm sure, some new skills. I think you talked about the wind energy industry. And people, I respond to some of everything I've heard. People think of wind and you only think of the big tower, and you think that is the end of wind. However, in the session that we had on the 7th of August, talking to the people in the wind industry, there's a whole supply chain of skilled occupations leading up to the production and manufacturing of the products that operate the pulleys, the gears, and et cetera, that operate those wind turbines. In addition, in this state today, I believe there are over 650 people who are involved in the maintenance and care of those wind turbines, because they are just like our bodies. They get old and they wear out and they require maintenance. The interesting thing about that is the men and women who work on the maintenance side require recertification every year. And they're sent from Colorado to other states at a price of $7,000 to $10,000 a year to become recertified and maintain their skills. So we're looking at that as an opportunity for education and training in Colorado. So there are opportunities. The smart grid, there's a whole new course of study being designed in Larimer County by a couple of companies and I believe Colorado State University around the knowledge, skills, and competencies that are necessary to support the smart grid. There are opportunities for water conservation, because most of our homes and most of the ways we use water are wasteful. There are opportunities for much saving. So you are right, sir, when you say that the Sustainable Energy Initiative needs to be a re-education of all of us. And the process of re-educating all of us is another commercial opportunity for training and skills and competencies. So as we talk about this, we need to think. We are going to change some jobs, and we are going to lose some jobs. But we need to be conscious of the fact that there will be new jobs created, there will be new skills required. And let's not waste our time trying to define a green job. I don't care what color the job is. The essential question is, are we engaged in occupations and professions that allow us to use less energy, that allow us to use energy wisely, and that allow us to conserve the energy that we do produce, and to become more productive in the things that we do. And let us become more knowledgeable about the environment in which we live and the impact and effect that we and our activities have on it. There are also some training and teaching and skills acquisition and sharing opportunities that could be well paid there. So we need to think about this change in that it will do some harm and it will do some good. And it will create opportunities that we're not even thinking about, that we're not even aware of today. There is a project, I don't know if Excel is involved in it, but there are a couple of experimental projects. One of them, my favorite project, is a New Belgium brewery. There is an attempt to commercialize the waste from that brewery and use it to feed algae, which produces diesel, cleans the water and flows it back into the New Belgium brewery, as that tire tastes better and better. So that requires new skills, that requires innovation, because it's the secret to making life better for our children and our grandchildren is innovation. That is centered in creative thinking, in education, in science, technology, energy, and math. And teachers that understand and know how to communicate with young people, inspire them, and open up all of the opportunities that exist in a free market economy. So, I guess we are engaged right now in a process. The U.S. Department of Labor has about $500 million worth of opportunities on the street. One category that the State Workforce Council, which I staff, is applying for is an opportunity if we do our work properly, and if my state board members help me, and we are effective, we should be able to obtain a grant for $6 million. Some of our local workforce centers and some of our local community colleges and their partners are applying for another grant opportunity within the 5 that are being presented to the nation to look at renewable energy and to look at training people in industries and industry sectors that produce that clean energy and that help us conserve and that help us live better. So those opportunities we hope will flow into Colorado. And one that will answer your question, there is a proposal around labor market information to actually go into standard occupational codes and ONETs. Those are some funny in-house kinds of terms, folks, but try to really define the jobs and the clean energy or the energy renewable impacts and the skills that are associated with that to define it so we can truly begin to measure it. Because you know, if we can't measure it, we have no idea what we're doing. So that is I know that is a grant that is being submitted from the state of Colorado and several other states in partnership to begin to actually define that. And some states have tried to do ad hoc definitions of what clean energy, green energy jobs are. The state of Washington has done a study trying to identify those things, and the state of Florida has tried to gather information to define what are jobs impacted by the new energy economy. And the important thing about the Pew Charitable Trust report is that they simply focus on the supply side of clean energy, but they did not address the users of the product. Solar panels on a roof is a manufactured product. The film that goes into that absorbs the energy from the sun is not very productive. There are innovations and experiments going on now to increase the amount of energy that can be extracted using different kinds of technology so that solar panels can become more effective and more commercially viable. So, I'll stop. But the thing I want to say is we need not be pessimistic. The world is not going to, we're not going to melt in the next 10 to 15 years, and the the ice cap on this world will not melt and our seas will not rise. However, what we need to do is prepare for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren a better world that's cleaner and that is fueled with energy that is produced in wise, planet-sustaining ways. Thank you.
Thanks, Booker. And ladies and gentlemen, that's, in a nutshell, is a way of how you get free speakers. You put them on the spot. You find them in the room,